I enjoy making cutouts, but to a certain point, because they're highly labour intensive and you've got to cut for many, many hours. And you get to a point where, I just wish tomorrow morning I woke up and the fairies have been and done all the cutting for me. I can see bits in the paper where I've gone, I cut a bit wide there, or I cut a bit thin there. But I think it's really important to have that craft. There's a lot of respect for that. And it is like making a painting. There's a lot of the strokes in all of the cutouts that I make. What's happening with my cutouts now is it's starting to hang in free space, suspended from the ceiling, rather than up against the wall, which is quite traditional. This is probably my favourite installation of these 3 cutout works, to suspend them so that they look like they're floating, and to be able to interact with them this way and move around them and look through them. Just presents this other dynamic to the work.
The cutout is something that fascinates people because people can see the way that she manipulates light and shade. It's very visceral, it's very obvious how she's using something ephemeral and kind of conjuring with it. So it's got tremendous appeal because the works are never static. You can always put them into play, different times of day, different times, they're going to look different.
When I first started making them, I was researching kōwhaiwhai. And that kind of repetition and mirroring of patterns worked really well for cutouts. The next minute I was, also working with the shadow and with the light. And also too, staying in so many different whares, and, when you go to bed at night and then you look up at the roof and you look at all the rafters and you see all the different kōwhaiwhai patterns. Some of them are quite old and traditional and some of them are really contemporary, and you just kind of sit there and just look at them all like that. So I was quite inspired by that. The thing about kōwhaiwhai is, it's about whakapapa. I really like that. And it's not only just, when I'm talking about whakapapa, it's not like my personal or my family whakapapa, the whakapapa of nature, of plants, of trees, of things. So this work here, Strata, you can see it's about these layers. And I was thinking about how we find out information about our history and how archaeologists and ethnologists and that look at land and they dig down to find evidence of occupation. You find the layer of shell, you find layers of ash, and so you glean all this information that's in the land that tells you about the people that used to occupy the land. But on another level, these stratas represent the heavens. We have many heavens in Māori and Polynesian cultures. While this work is talking about the land, it's also talking about spirituality as well.
What's really great about Lonnie and the way that she works is that she makes reference to place a lot of times. So she's done works about, the Seven Sisters. She's done works about the hills around Christchurch. She's made reference to her Ngāi Tahu ancestry. And this work, which has to do with the historical stories of the Waiao and Clarence rivers. So she'll do that, but then she'll also use materials which are familiar to people, builder's paper or, objects that are familiar, like combs or the concertina pattern, and people can relate to that.